On your whiteboard, please tell me who's the founder of the Ming. What do we got? Lauren. Hong Wu. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the other important guy. He is going to create the Navy and send out voyages. He's going to do a bunch of cool things. Who is he, Molly? Yongle. On your whiteboard, Yongle is going to move the capital of China to where? Yongle is going to move the capital of China to where, Max? Beijing. Beijing has a nickname. What is its nickname? Micah, what is it? Forbidden City. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name. Give me 2 reasons why the Ming fell. Give me 2 reasons why the Ming fell. Good. Good. What do we got, Alexandra?
Peasant rebellions and famine.
Peasant rebellions, famines. What else could you have said, Max?
Isolated rulers.
Isolated rulers. What else could you have said, Dean? Pirates and Manchus. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the traveling bureaucrats Hong Wu sent around? They're also known as tiny oranges. What are they? Adrian? Mandarins. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the empire that defeats the Ming? Isn't it nice to kind of rhyme? Well, who is it? Read. The Qing. On your whiteboard, please tell me. The Qing are actually known as what? Who are they actually? Not Qings. They are what, Cheyenne? Manchus. On your whiteboard, there have been 2 invading powers who've taken over China. Who are the 2? Good. Good. Who are they, Jack? Mongols and the Manchus. Isn't it nice? They both have M's. That's nice. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the gentleman who's going to suspend taxes multiple times because they were just making so much money. I'll take the primary myself. Thank you very much. Good. Who is it, Jessica? Yan Long. All right, here we go. Who can raise your hand and tell me where we left off? Adrian. Oh, so we didn't really get that far, huh?
No, we were on the slide when we were talking.
Oh, okay. All right. So yesterday we started the Ming and then we started the Qing. All right, so the Qing. We are going to have the Qing come in. Is this where we left off, Adrian? All right, perfect. All right, so the Qing are going to come into power. They're going to come in power because of Chinese are going to be fed up with the Ming corruption, so they're going to support these outsiders called the Manchus. They're going to come in and take over. Now, the Manchus are going to forbid intermarriage, which is the same thing the Mongols did. They are going to make it illegal for Chinese to study the Manchu language, which is just like the Mongols did. And they're going to force Manchu hairstyles, which I think you would all agree is the new fashion statement of Plant High School. No? I mean, I think it looks pretty good. I don't think my husband would be very happy. I don't know, though. It would make getting up in the morning, not that this takes a lot of work, but, you know. All right, so Emperor Zhangzi, did we get to hear? No? Okay, Emperor Zhangzi is going to be the first emperor of the Qing. He is going to conquer Tibet and Taiwan, and he's going to have a grandson named Qianlong, and Qianlong is going to be the most important emperor of the Qing. He is the most famous one. He is going to be at the height of the Qing, and he is going to be supporting trade and all that stuff, so much so that there's going to be so much money that taxes get canceled. What, John? No, what do you got, John? Okay, so there you go. Those are your 2 big guys. That's it. Now, it is important to note that both of these are Confucian scholars and poets. Is that different than the Mongols? Yes. Why is that different, Aiden?
The Mongols were completely against all Chinese culture, and you guys are like accepting it, right?
They're accepting it, they're writing poems, and they're supporting it, which is a huge difference. So the Mongols are literally going to pause China. The Qing are going to allow some of it to flourish. However, they're going to keep themselves separate. And that's the big difference between. Both of them are going to keep themselves separate from the Chinese population. The Mongols are going to have suspend all academics and all essentially art and culture, while the Qing are going to support the art and the culture. Okay, so make sure you're able to compare the two. All right, so the interesting thing about the Ming and the Qing is that they are going to take their emperors and make them quasi-gods. What is a quasi-god, Max?
Not exactly God, but close enough.
Pretty damn close. So much so that emperors are not allowed to touch their bare flesh to the ground for thought that it would make them disappear. Yes. So when they go places, they get carried. They get carried from bed to bed, and they wear slippers if they walk on their own devices, and they have rugs on top of rugs on top of rugs in order to ensure they don't touch the ground. Yes.
Are they the ones that had the things where, where they'd sit and when they be carried through the streets and they're...
Yeah, they have the little carriages that
Yeah.
have the little sticks
Those
there.
things.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Okay, so it's important to understand that because they're quasi-gods, they get a ton of ceremony, and their tons of ceremony is going to, of course, include concubines. Everyone loves concubines, so much so that every time you see a Chinese picture, you assume every woman in there is concubines. Hence yesterday's primary source. And you're also going to have tons of servants. So the Beijing is going to be a huge city, and it's based around, at this time, specifically just around the ceremony of the emperor. Everything they do is a whole big ceremony. When we think of pharaohs in Egypt, we think big ceremonies every day, correct? Hello? It's the same type of thing that's happening in China at this time as well. Anything that emperor wore, no one else could wear. You couldn't name your kid the same name as the emperor. If the emperor was born after you but had the same name, you had to change your name. So, kind of a big deal. Kowtow is going to come back. Kowtow is from the Tang and Song dynasty. It's going to come back. And it's going to be a big deal. It's Kowtow, like we described before, is a ritual bow where you put your forehead to the ground and it's complete submission. You do it 3 times, and you do 9 head knocks, which is like the just shallow bow. Scholar-Bureaucrats, what you're going to see is that the Qing are going to force Confucianism. They're going to support Confucianism. They're going to support the civil service exam. They are going to have a larger scholar class than any other Chinese dynasty. They are going to have the most scholars than in any other Chinese dynasty. Okay? Can we say that about the Mongols? No, we had the smallest one. Under the Qin, we killed all of them, remember? Okay, now the Qing is going to go the opposite of the Qin. Isn't that nice? People don't even care they're making connections, okay? I'm making connections for you. Why? The Qin? Kill everyone. The Qing.
The Qin and the Qing is made
Yeah, there's no Ting. Wouldn't it be great if there was a Ting? There's no Ting. Huh?
Is there a Qing dynasty somewhere?
Well, not that I have to cover. Alright, so they're also going to add history and literature to the civil service exam. On the civil service exam, you already have Confucian classics, calligraphy, poetry, and essay writing. Now you have history and literature. AP loves that. I don't really know why they care that much, but on the exam. Now, the civil service exam, same thing that we talked about when it was created in the song. It's a 3-day exam. It's really, really tough. Some people died, which my last period was fascinating, the fact they threw you over the wall. So I'm glad you guys are reading. It's a 3-day exam. Underneath the Qing, you had more people passing than ever before and more people taking it. Only 300 were allowed to pass the test at the highest level. Same thing that we do with SAT today. The SAT only allows a certain amount of perfect scores. They only allow a certain amount. There's only a certain amount allowed in each tier. It's the bell curve. So if everyone's doing really, really well, they shift what a high score is. Does that make sense? And that's where you score. It's So they're only going to allow so much. It's just like the AP exam. If everyone does well enough before they take the test, everyone says 100 is 3, and the average score is 110, do you think they're going to let everyone pass the AP exam? No, they're going to change. All right. To get a 3, you have to have 120. They're just going to bump it up. Same thing they do on the SAT. Does that make you sad? Did you not know that? Oh, well.
So they don't want us to succeed.
They don't want everyone to succeed. Think about it. Life is not fair. Some people are better than others. Not everyone is prepared equally. Why would they let everyone pass? Then what's the point?
The kindness of their hearts.
Oh, that's so cute. Do you think whoever made this class really, really cares about you in your sleep, in your social life? No. Max.
What happens if like 400 people get the score?
Then there wouldn't be.
The test would be too easy
Then they would curve it and they would delete some questions. Then whoever got the last right, then they would allow it to happen.
Yeah, but if that one got the perfect score, what if like 4 people get every question right on the test?
I don't think that would happen to me. This exam has now been in place for about 500 years. I think they've probably figured it out, don't you think?
Maybe.
Probably. What do you got, Lauren?
Is that standard notes along with something in the competition? I don't know.
A lot of corruption and competition. I don't know where you are.
I've been under higher education.
A lot of tutors and corruption. Okay, so I haven't got there yet. Thank you, Lauren.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I thought you did.
So, ferocious competition. So, under the Qing Dynasty, 1 million degree holders are going to compete for 20,000 jobs. Dean, put it away. So,
That's what I would get.
oh. All right, so what's going to happen is we have a lot of people who are educated who don't have a job. Okay, so it's going to create a lot of frustration. Would you agree? Look at today's world. Today we have the same problem. We have a lot of people with degrees and not a lot of jobs. Correct? A lot of people can't pay off their student loans. People are really frustrated. Okay, so what's going to happen? A lot of these people are going to turn to teaching. If a lot of these college degree holders are going to go and start tutoring people who wouldn't have had that exposure, do you think we have more educated people or less educated people? More educated people. We'll also have a lot more corruption because if there's more competition, more people are going to do some shady things in order to get in. Obviously, the wealthy people have an advantage. Wealthy people have an advantage in every aspect of life, except for happiness. I don't know if that's true, but we're going to put that. Okay.
So you're talking.
I agree. I'm a big fan of money, but, you know. Open all, tremendous opportunity for social mobility. Patriarchal. Guess what? China's a patriarchal society.
What?
I know, it's really surprising. Eldest son is favored. Clan-based authority given to men. Males receive preferential status. Okay. Girls, when you get married, ladies, you are now owned by the male's parents. You no longer see your parents. You just kind of cut off ties and you're done. Infanticide. There you go. It's going to be very common. What type of infants are going to be killed? Lauren? Females.
Are the women allowed to take those things?
They used to be, but not under the Qing. They used to, but not under the Qing. Another big thing is, under the Qing, they allow divorce for the first time. Men can ask for divorce. You can ask for divorce, gentlemen, for anything for adultery, so your wife cheats on you, or for talking too much. Gentlemen, if you divorce your wife, can you get remarried?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'd hate for you to be lonely. Ladies, if your husband divorces you, can you get remarried? No. You're essentially supposed to just walk off into the woods and just sit there quietly until you die. You're not allowed to remarry. You're seen as like a blemish of society. So, enjoy the woods, ladies. Foot binding's back. Nothing makes a woman feel better than not able to walk. So, that's back. There you go. Population. Now, China is going to have a population increase because of American food. Specifically, new food crops, corn, sweet potatoes, peanuts, lead to a population increase. However, there's so many rebellions and famines that the population never really increases. So there's population increase because there's more food. However, there's a lot more death happening, so it actually stays pretty stagnant. That's pretty cool. Foreign trade. Now, the cool thing about foreign trade is that the Qing and the Ming are known for their silk, their porcelain, which is obviously expected. Their tea is also expected. Those are traditional, but lacquerware is the new thing. You Google lacquerware, and you can if you want. It's like the black pots, the black, with the pretty image. When you think of like Asian art and stuff, you think of lacquerware. It's like really dark colors with like these really pretty floral prints on them. Yes, no? That's lacquerware, and that becomes a high price item. Everything that the Chinese want needs to be paid for silver bullion. That's what they want. If you want to buy a pot, you need to give me silver. This is a big deal because it's going to destroy the Chinese economy in period 5. Silver bullion, which is silver currency. Yongle is going to do his travels, and it's going to not really get anything out of it. What's that mean?
What is it says in the board, a lot of people and like
I have no idea where a lot of people and
Rebellion will kill off a lot of people and something. It's right underneath
Yes.
people, something. And something.
It looks like loud.
What's it?
I don't know.
Just something.
I don't know. Equals balance. It's balance. It's balance. All right. So trade in Southeast Asia. What we're going to see is we're going to have a ton of trade, especially with Manila. Okay. During the Ming and the Qing, which is your next note, they do not push science and technology at all. They're constantly doing what? Looking backwards. They're looking at the traditional Chinese culture. They're doing all these things. They're not looking forward. Because of that, the Chinese do not invest in science and technology. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing because they're not improving themselves. What you're going to see is that the government is going to suppress all technological advancement. They don't want to advance technology because they want to control the people. If they can come up with new ways to do things, then that makes people a lot more dangerous. All right. And finally, by the way, China has a privileged class, a working class, and a lower class. We expected that, correct? 3-tier system. Neo-Confucianism is popping up. It's a blend of, and I've talked about it before, Confucianism and Buddhism. And Christianity, this is the next big thing that happens. Christianity in China is going to first really arise under Matteo Ricci. He's a Jesuit, which means he's going to support math and science. He's going to attempt to convert the Ming. That is not going to go so well, but he is going to bring Western technology, specifically clocks. They love clocks. So much so that they actually painted pots with clocks on them. Which is pretty cool. I don't know why you would do that. It kind of defeats the purpose of a clock if the face never changes. Right? But prisms are also pretty popular. What's a prism? It's a prism, Dean. Yeah, it makes it into a what? A rainbow. Those are also very popular. And harpsichord. Harpsichords are the little thing that lies on your lap, and you sit there and play like that instead of the strumming.
What did we say when it says he does not bring clocks and
They love clocks. The heart. All right. Confucianism. You're good. Okay, you ready? We're going to Japan. Actually, I'm ready for a pause. All right, to the boards. On your whiteboard, please tell me what empire, what dynasty is going to have the largest amount of educated Chinese? Good. Who is it? Maya. The Qing. On your whiteboard, please tell me who is the most important leader of the Qing. Good. What is it, Isabella?
Qianlong.
Qianlong. On your whiteboard, what is the newest item that is going to drive support, drive money in China during this time? Good. What is it? Jessica?
Lacquerware.
Lacquerware. On your whiteboard, please tell me. What are the 3 American food items that's going to have the largest impact on China? What 3 American food items? What are they, Jill? Can you imagine Chinese food without peanuts? Or the whole corn in your stir fry? Could you imagine? A lot of it, actually. On your whiteboard, please. I don't think I've ever had a Chinese dish. And I've been to like a couple of legit Chinese restaurants with sweet potatoes. Have any of you had a Chinese dish with sweet potatoes? It's gotta be there. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the actual people behind the Qing. Good. Who are they, Emily? Manchu. Neo-Confucianism in China is the blending of what 2 religions? Neo-Confucianism in China is the blending of what 2 religions? Hi. Thank you. Bye, darling. Good. Lily. Confucianism, Buddhism. On your whiteboard, please tell me. China is demanding being paid with what? Good. What is it? Patel. Silver. All right, here we go. We're going to China. Japan, I mean. No. We don't spend any time talking about them. All right, so Japan is where we're going to start. Okay, Japan is going to be unified by the Tokugawa shogunate. They're going to be unified by the Tokugawa shogunate for the first time. Okay? Its shoguns are going to be pulled under the rule of them. Now keep in mind, before the Tokugawa shogunate arrives, the shogunate are going to control it. So the Tokugawa shogunate are going to unify Japan, and shoguns are under one family. Now, the Kufu is a tent government, which means it's covering all aspects of Japan. Okay? And they're going to create this government. So the government's now going to oversee every aspect. All right, we good? All right, so now all of a sudden we have all of the unification of Japan. Now, the control of the Daimyo, or the Great Name. Now, it's important to know that the capital of Edo is going to become the major capital during this time under the Tokugawa. The capital is moved to Edo, parentheses, Tokyo. Okay, and the Daimyo are forced to spend every other year at court. So the Daimyo are going to be your major lords. Shogunates are like your nobles. Your daimyos are your lords. Alright, so what we're going to have in this, I'm up in the center column now. Japan, 1630s. This is a huge deal. It's going to shape Japan for the rest till 2016. They're going to restrict foreign relations. They're going to close their doors in the 1630s, which means no travelers can come in, no books can come in, no outsiders allowed. No Japanese are allowed to leave, no foreigners are allowed in, no books are allowed in. They literally close their doors. Okay? This is going to be maintained for 200 years. This is a huge deal that will shape Japan. When Japan opens its doors, they're going to be opening their doors to a whole new world. So 1630s to 1830s. What's happening in the 1830s? Max? War of 1812. Well, yes. Why do we? Industrial Revolution is the biggest thing. So the next time the Japanese open their doors, the Industrial Revolution's in full swing. And who is going to be a big deal on the world stage for the first time? Dean. U.S. is going to be a big deal during that time. So the whole world is going to change from 1630 to 1830s. It's a total dramatic change. As soon as they open their doors, they're like, oh, snap. And they overthrow their government, and they industrialize incredibly quickly, and that's the start of the Japanese Empire, which the United States is going to send our generals over to Japan to help them modernize and fight, and then we're going to fight them in World War II. Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit of an oops. It's a big deal. But you need to know that in 1630s they close their doors. Neo-Confucianism is going to start being a big deal coming up here. So economic growth is going to happen, social growth. We're going to have a lot of unemployment of the Daimyo and samurai warriors. Have any of you seen The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise? It's a good movie, right?
Yeah.
I hate Tom Cruise, but it's a great movie. After the AP exam, I'm planning on showing it to you. It's a really good movie. It's about this time period in the 1870s when they're all out of work. Okay? Decline in poverty, stuff like that. All right, so Neo-Confucianism in Japan. You need to understand that Neo-Confucianism in Japan and Neo-Confucianism in China is different. In Japan, it's a blending of three: Confucianism, Buddhism, and Shintoism. Shintoism is the classical religion in Japan. Okay, so in Neo-Confucianism in Japan, it has three components: Confucianism, Buddhism, and Shintoism. That's a big thing you need to know. So there you go. All right, so Japanese culture. Now this is where things get a little bit tricky, and on your exam, on your test on Thursday, you have a couple of these words. Like 2 questions from this slide alone. Okay, ukiyo, it means floating world, and Japan is seen as separate and special from the rest of the world. Okay, the reason why Japan closes its doors in the 1630s is because Japan thinks they're really special and really unique, and they're nothing like China, and they don't want to deal with China, and they don't want to deal with the rest of the world because they're so wonderful. So they close the doors. That is what they mean by floating world. Kabuki theater. Have you ever seen Kabuki theater? It's pretty cool. It's like, have you ever seen like the dragons? Not like the Chinese dragons and stuff like that, but they do like this really cool thing. Google Kabuki theater. It's actually very cool. It's an art form of traditional dance, drums, and acting. And then you have BUNRAKU, which is puppet theater, and they teach the traditional moral ideals. But they're like kind of creepy puppets, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty cool though. I would definitely know that Japan calls himself Floating World and Kabuki Theater. Are we good?
Dance, something, and acting.
Kill me. Traditional dance, drums, and acting. Kill me, Lauren. Kill
I'm
me.
sorry, it's hard to read from
Yeah, whatevs. Whatevs. Alright, so Christianity in Japan. Christian missionaries are going to show up in Japan. However, think about it. Does Japan like outsiders? No, they don't. So they see them as mischievous and dangerous. So they allow them in for a little bit. And then they're like, you know what? These Christians, they're a little weird, these white people. So they let them in, and then the government starts getting really, really suspicious once all the daimyo, the lords, are starting to convert. So the Japanese banned Christianity. And to make an example out of these outsiders having influence, they crucify most of them. There's a bunch about it. They're going to crucify a lot of the Christians, which is really funny because there's no historical record of crucifixion in Japanese history except during this time period. So essentially, these people read the Bible and saw that's how Jesus died and used it to kill him. You have to kind of appreciate that. They're like, you know what? This is how your Savior died. You're dying this way too. Anyway, so no more. So fear of foreign intrusion, they close the doors, and essentially they kill all the Christians in Japan. It is important to understand the Japanese are not welcoming. They don't want anyone in. Alright, now, there's only one exception to that rule, and it's the Dutch. For some reason, the Japanese love the Dutch. And still to this day, did you know Japan is the largest importer of Dutch goods? They like Dutch wine, they like Dutch alcohol, they like Dutch chocolate. They import the most stuff from the Dutch. Isn't that crazy? Still to this day. Anyway, remember in the 1630s, are the Dutch pretty powerful or not powerful at all? They're pretty powerful. Because it's at the end of your First World War, French and Indian War, 7 Years' War. It's at the end of that. So they're coming down, but they haven't officially started to decline. So in the 1630s, being friends and allies with the Dutch, who used to be a huge dominating power, especially in the West Indies, was seen as a good thing. So the Japanese are like, yeah, we're friends with the Dutch. But as soon as they close the doors in the 1630s, what happens to the Dutch popularity and power? Plummets. So when they open the doors in the 1830s, is being friendly with the Dutch going to help them anywhere? Nope. So the Dutch are the only country allowed into Japan, and they're allowed to trade with Japan. The Japanese depend on the Dutch to keep them informed while the doors are closed. Are the Dutch going to be the best country to keep them informed? No, because are the Dutch going to tell the Japanese that they're no longer a major power? No. They're going to be like, oh my god, we're like the most powerful country in the world. We're like super successful right now, and everyone's afraid of us. And the Japanese are going to believe it because they have no other choice. All right, for the board. How much time do I have? Nice. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the government that is going to rise and unify Japan for the first time. No, Japanese government. What is it? What is it, Jack? Tokugawa Shogunate. On your whiteboard, please tell me around what time period are the Japanese going to close their doors? Good. Micah? 1630s. On your whiteboard, please tell me the Japanese are going to kill what people of what religion because they feel of outside intrusion. Good. Isabella? Christians. On your whiteboard, please tell me what country is the only country allowed to trade with Japan? Maya? The Dutch. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the Japanese word for floating world? Good. Sophia? Sure. On your whiteboard, please tell me Neo-Confucianism in Japan is the blend of what three? Good. Alexandra?
Confucianism, Buddhism, and Shintoism.
There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is an art form of traditional dance, drums, and acting in Japan? Good. What is it? Patel? Kabuki. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the big item, the two big items the Chinese people are buying in huge waves. One's science and technology, the other one is a precious metal. Good. Aiden? Silver and clocks. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the new capital of Japan? It's two names, you need to know both. What are they? Good. Good. What is it? Max? There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me how long is Japan going to close its doors for? Good. Sophia?
200 years.
There you go. What do you got?
So, is Japan also like silver and clocks like China?
No.
Wait, was that a question for China?
Did I say Japan? Oh, I meant China. No, did I say China?
Wait, did China like clocks, but
No. China is the only one who likes silver and clocks. Japan wants nothing to do with anyone else because they think they're better than everyone else. Hence why they close the doors. Like, we don't need anything.
the capitals?
Nidu, which is also known as Tokyo. Alright. Alright, 2 Islamic empires. Alright. Alright, so Islamic empires. It is important to see how extensive the Islamic empires are going to be during this time period. Take a look. Quick. It's actually going to extend all the way to Vienna for about 40 years. Okay? They don't maintain it for that long, which is why they don't get it. But it's going to go that far into Europe. Do you think this is a big threat to your European Christians? Our European states? Absolutely. So it's going to change the dynamic between Europe and the Middle East in a major way. Remember, Europe is rising in power, and they thought they have essentially defeated the Muslims because the Muslims have been like low-key chill, correct? Now the Muslims are going to really push forward, and it's going to cause a big deal. Now the Ottoman Empire is going to be defeated what major empire previous? You can raise your hand and tell me, what empire did they defeat previous? Maya? The Byzantines. So remember, after the Romans, the Byzantines rise and surge. They fall to the Ottomans. The Ottomans are going to take over the Byzantine Empire in 1453 when they conquer Constantinople. They're going to rename it Istanbul. Okay? This is the first, okay, now, for your Ottoman Empire, you have the Kangxi, which are Muslim religious warriors. They are going to capture and force Christians to fight for them. This whole process of capturing Christians and forcing them to go fight is called Divasham. Okay? So, when you capture people to go fight, and that's your whole purpose, the whole thing is called Divasham. Okay? Then, because they're capturing Christians specifically to make them go fight, do they have high respect for Christians or low respect for Christians? Low respect. Okay? Now, it is important to know that because the Christians are going to do such a good job and fight really, really well for them, they are eventually going to gain respect. Okay? And because of that, they are going to be called Janissaries. Okay, Janissaries are Christians who fight for the Muslims and seen as a huge respect thing. So at the beginning of this whole Davasham, they thought of Christians as weak, and they're like, who cares if we kill a bunch of Christians? After they fight and win a lot of battles, they're eventually going to be highly respected, which we're going to come back to here. And Janissaries are Christians who fight. Some do, not all of them do. Alright, so your first major ruler of the Islamic empires is Mehmed II. He's known as the Conqueror. He conquers Constantinople in 1453. Have you heard of him? Yes, because I feel like we always talk about the fall of Constantinople in 1453. I also told you have to know 1453 is the fall of Constantinople. I feel like we've talked about it like 7,000 times. You need to know the fall of Constantinople in 1453. Anyway, when Mehmed takes it over, he now becomes the emperor. He's no longer the ruler of the Ottoman, he's the emperor because now they have an empire. Okay? Now, your next major Ottoman ruler is going to be Süleyman the Magnificent. Now, if you wanted to make a nickname for me, I would really appreciate either Queen Bee or Bennett the Magnificent. Any of those two, I would really appreciate. I think being the Magnificent is pretty awesome. I think I have magical powers, because I think all magicians are called the Magnificent. And it's also pretty great. I'm just going to say. Anyway, so Süleyman, he's going to expand the empire all the way to Vienna, which is in the middle of Europe. And it's a very, very European city. Anyone been to Vienna? It's in Austria. When you think Austria, do you think of a bunch of white people? Hello? Think of it conquered by Arabs. Isn't that cool? That's how expansive they are. And then you're going to have developed the navy. When you think of the Ottomans, do you think of a navy? They're a pretty successful navy, actually. They're not like the British successful of navy, but pretty successful. So Süleyman is your next big ruler. Okay, so now we're going to have the development of competing empires. So the Ottoman Empire is going to have these two major ones. Then we're going to have the start of the gunpowder empires. So I'm going to start a heading called gunpowder empires. The first one is going to be the Safavid Empire. Okay, so the first ruler is Ismail. Okay, and he's a military leader. Okay, so he starts the 12th. He starts the 12er. Religion. And they believe the 12th Imam, also known as Caliph, is in hiding. Ready to lead. Okay, they also wear red hats. Which I think is pretty awesome. Okay? No, we can Google it, man. Google quiz Beal badge. Alright. Qizilbash. Okay? And then you need to know, named after Sufi thinker. Okay? So, the first major conflict, okay? So, under the Safavid, they are going to be Ottomans attack. Chaldiran. Okay? Ottomans use gunpowder. Use gunpowder and win. Ismail escapes. Okay. Then you have your next great ruler, who is Shah Abbas. Abbas. Revitalizes empire, and military strength. Okay, then you have the Mughal. Oh, see ya. Have a good day, guys.